What's up, Internet World? Leroy Green, News 19 Nerds. We got a special guest today. We're here with Donald Brock. We call him Brock because that is a cool name. And you know what? I know why I think Brock is your first name. Venture Brothers, Brock Sampson.
Absolutely. That's a great show.
Awesome
great show.
All right, so guys, we're here with the creator of Soda City Comic Con. He's here to tell us eventually who their special guest is. But Brock, I wanted to get into what was it like putting together Soda City Comic Con?
Oh, Leroy, you asked me that question. It has been a fun ride. I equate it to like one of those roller coasters where it's very stressful when you're on your way up, and then as you crest the top, you start looking down. You're like, did I make the right decision? And then boom, down you go. And then once you're over the hill, it's on. It's been fun. We've had highs, we've had a couple lows. You know, we've done some great things. We've made some mistakes along the way. But I think what we've been able to do is kind of put together a show that we would like to attend. My wife and I started a business in 2011 selling vintage comic books. We'd buy a couple, sell a couple. Pretty simple business model. Well, it got to a point where our business grew that people were asking us, you know, what would you like to do? Are you going to open up a store? I'm like, no, not really. Don't really want to deal with that. Well, why don't you start a show? Well, okay, simply because I have been on all sides. I've been behind the table as a vendor. I've been in the aisle as a attendee. I've seen the way shows operate, and I kind of had an idea of what I liked and what I wanted to model my show after. And it's not just my show. I have a partner too. But you know, we kind of got together. He's been a fan of comics since the early '90s. Traveled to Philadelphia one year just to see Todd McFarlane. I mean, that's some dedication from North Carolina. So, you know, we kind of got together, kind of brainstormed some ideas. I didn't come up with the name. My wife did. And, you know, we kind of hit the ground running. First year, had a flood. It's okay.
The funniest thing about that, you mentioned that. So the first year you guys had it, nobody really thought the flood was coming. So
no, they didn't.
People kept coming to the con.
Yep.
We went and we covered it. And then that Sunday the flood shut up, but people still came.
They did. They did. And we actually caught a little bit of criticism about that simply because people were like, there's a flood happening and you're still open. And we're like, yeah, there's 1,000 people here. What are we supposed to do? You know, do we send them home? Well, no. Well, they're here. May as well enjoy it. Saturday was great. If it had been a one-day show that year, it would have been perfect. Obviously, nobody knew what was going to happen in October of 2015. But what that did for us is it showed that the concept, the idea was viable. It gave us proof of concept that a show like this would actually work in Columbia.
What it showed to me is that whether sink or swim, people were going to come to a
They did.
That's what it said
They
to
did.
me. Sink or swim, people were going to come to a comic book convention no matter what.
Yes.
That's what it said to me. That's what I was like. People were willing to risk life and limb to come to this comic book convention.
Yeah, you know it got serious when there were Hueys landing in the parking lot to evacuate people. That's when we were like, oh, okay, this is kind of serious. And we shut down a little bit early and we sent everybody home, knock on wood. Fortunately for us, everybody got home safe. And almost everybody who came was like, yeah, we'll come back and do it again next year. And it's grown from there.
It's really grown from there.
Yep.
Last year you guys had Mike Coulter.
We did. It's awesome.
You had Mike Coulter, Sanford was there, and you had Roy Thomas. Basically 3 pillars of Power Man and Iron Fist.
Yep.
What's it been like to meet some of these guys?
I don't want to go all fanboy and say it's awesome. I mean, I've known Roy for several years. I've known Sanford for a few years. You know, met Mike last year. They're, for lack of a better word, they're just normal, everyday guys. Mike's from St. Matthews, calls Columbia home. He didn't treat us any different than he would anybody else, I guess, that he grew up with. Super nice guy. You know, asks about us, asks about how your family's doing when we talk on the phone. Yes, we do talk on the phone every once in a while.
I'm hating right now. Only because
he's just a normal guy.
Only because
what's up, Mike? Just a normal guy.
I wanted to go to the convention, but you know what it is: happy wife, happy life.
I understand. Yeah,
Beyonce was in Atlanta, so.
But she came to Columbia later.
Yeah, but we bought tickets to Atlanta before the Columbia thing,
go.
So we had to go. So I missed the entire Soda City last year.
Well, this is something you'll probably hear first. He will come back. He's already told us he will come back. I don't know when. I'm not going to tell anybody when, but he is planning to come back. I mean, this is home. Yeah. He can come home and see family. He can come home and see childhood friends that he grew up with. So there is an appeal for Mike Coulter to come back to Columbia.
And he's in his new CBS show, Evil.
He is.
it's kind of like a X-Files type, supernatural type show.
Something like that. I've read a little synopsis that he's playing a religious figure, and he's working with like a psychologist or psychiatric person to explore the connection between the mind and, demons. I don't know. It's interesting.
So tell me a little bit about the guests that you have this year coming up, because one of the coolest things I thought was when I saw your Facebook post and you said Kevin Conroy's coming.
Kevin Conroy.
To a lot of people, to me, that is my childhood. That is the archetype for Batman. What was it like setting up not just Kevin Conroy, but the entire panel?
About 3 months worth of work, phone calls, emails, a little bit of begging. I will say this. I wasn't really the person that set it up. That was Steve. Mm-hmm. Steve worked the phones and the email for 2 solid months to get Kevin Conroy. And when it happened, it's like when you're building the base of the pyramid, everything else is going to go up because you've got that solid foundation. I mean, Kevin is the rock of the Batman animated world. I mean, he has been Batman. There he is. He's been Batman in Batman the Animated Series and all the Justice League Unlimited, the Batman films, the Arkham, video games,
the Arkham Knight games. Just
if ever you have a consistent actor, it's been Kevin Conroy as Batman. And so once Kevin, was on board, then Lauren Lester came on, even though he's only going to be here for a couple of hours on Saturday morning due to professional obligations, unfortunately. Susan Eisenberg, who plays Wonder Woman in the Justice League series. George Newbern, who plays the voice of Superman. He's also the voice of Sephiroth in the Final Fantasy series.
Also was the Yeti in Friends that dated Rachel Green, a.k.a. Jennifer Aniston.
Yes, he was in Friends. He's in Scandal,
Yep.
A couple of other shows. So, those individuals, they fell in, reached out to Diane Pershing, who does Poison Ivy, John Glover, who was in Shazam, in Smallville, does the voice of the Riddler. And then just to put the cherry on top, we finally got the lovely Adrienne Barbeau.
I had a big crush on her when I was a kid.
I'm a little bit too young to remember her. I know she was an icon in the 70s and early 80s, and she's kind of been timeless. I mean, she's still a very attractive lady.
Had a huge crush on her when I was a kid, so I was really like Kevin Conroy. I was like, okay, and then I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate this entire panel coming.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. There hasn't been a gathering of Batman the Animated Series cast like this probably outside of San Diego or New York. And those are shows that, that's what we strive to become. We would love to become a San Diego or New York. We realize that it's probably not going to happen. That's okay. Have lofty goals. See what happens.
Shoot high.
That's right.
One of the things, San Diego is just now celebrating 50 years, and a lot of people are not, I don't want to say not going, but Hall H, some people dipped out. Warner Brothers wasn't going, and you've gone to a lot of conventions. We've seen that Heroes Con up there in Charlotte has really stayed true to comics.
They have.
One of the big things you guys had, I loved for me, was having Roy Thomas there and talking about his creating and all these different things. One of the things that I want to know is, what's it like when you sit down with somebody that you fanned out over, and you're like talking to that person, you're like, it's just or like that little nugget or kernel that you get that you didn't know about.
I mean, it's almost surreal. Like, you talk to someone like Roy Thomas, who's created numerous characters. People may not be aware. He's responsible for Conan. He's responsible for Ghost Rider,
Red Sonja.
Yes, Iron Fist, Sabretooth. Some people say Wolverine. I'm not 100% convinced, but that's okay. He was same era.
Ultron.
Yes, he invented Ultron, the Silver Age Vision that everyone knows from the Avengers movies. Luke Cage. So he's responsible for 30 probably plus mainstream characters. Ghost Rider, that have been resurrected, kind of, not necessarily from the dead, but from somewhat comic obscurity.
Yeah.
For example, when Iron Man came out when was that?
2008.
Yeah, when Iron Man first came out, in my opinion, Iron Man was a B-list character at best.
Yep.
And as soon as Robert Downey Jr. became Tony Stark, Iron Man went from a B-list character who might be mentioned in conversation to like the top Marvel character. And now it's kind of Roy's turn for his characters to kind of come and go from B, maybe high C, to maybe not top shelf, but they're up there.
One of the things that I thought was interesting is Roy created Luke Cage back in the day, and it took Brian Michael Bendis, was one of his favorite characters, and then basically propelled him, put him on the Avengers, and now Luke Cage is it's literally a now, I want to say, everybody knows who Luke Cage is.
They do.
Everybody knows who Mike Coulter is. Everybody,
yeah.
and that's due to the South Carolina connection. So one of the things we want to bring you on, because you have this supposedly secret guest. I don't know who it is. Adam knows who it is.
It's our co-headliner with Kevin Conroy.
So I'm excited about it. What went into getting this guest? Like, what was one of the things that it took to land this type person? Don't tell me who it is yet.
No, I'm not going to tell you, no. One of the hardest things that we've discovered is finding guests for shows, guests that make sense, guests that, quite frankly, fit our budget, guests that we think the general Columbia fan base would enjoy meeting and appreciating and hearing from. And, there's a lot of guests out there, but there's a lot of shows out there too. Mm-hmm. So competition to secure a guest can be quite fierce and quite difficult. You have to work out schedules, you have to book plane flights, you have to book hotels, you have to make sure that management and agency companies are happy with the deals that you've worked out. I mean, it's a lot of back and forth, a lot of emails, a lot of text messages, a lot of phone calls. And then when you finally, get right up to the edge, something can happen, something can pop up. Someone gets offered a role in a movie or a TV spot, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're gone. For example, the Mr. Lester is in Charlotte doing a play, an off-Broadway play, or traveling production, I guess is the right way. And I think it sold so well that they went and added matinees on Saturday and Sunday. When we signed him, we were not aware of that, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's out. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing you can do about it because there's always an out clause for professional obligations. And obviously, that's their job. We would never want to take anybody away from their job. But it's, again, one of those things, one of those hurdles that you have to leap over and hope they don't trip you up along the way.
One of the things I wonder is you're married and you have kids.
I am.
What has it been like for the family aspect to have it actually, you put on a convention and bringing your family to this event?
It's work outside of the home is what it is. I have 3 children, 12, 8, and 6. They're all about to roll over one more year. They're all born within 30 days of each other, so we can kind of do all the things together. They really enjoy it from the perspective of they get to see a lot of people in costume. They don't understand, for the most part, the celebrity aspect. One of the cool things that we're having this year, you mentioned that you have a Coleco and you have an Atari and a Sega Dreamcast, I think, or Sega CD, one of the two. We actually have a retro video game room that has over 30 systems that are the retro systems, all free play.
Really?
You come in and play as much as you want for as long as
That's
you want.
awesome.
Yes, Sega Dreamcast, Sega Saturn, NES, SNES, N64, Xbox, Xbox One, Xbox 360s, PlayStation 3s, PlayStation 4s, well, Switch. I mean, they're all there, and it's all free to play.
Awesome. So when your kids come...
That's what they like. What I was getting at, that's what they like. My kids are like, oh, there's a video game room? I'm like, yes. They're like, can we play? I'm like, yes. Daddy, do we need any money? No. So, it works out. My kids love video games.
What's been the one guest that that your kids would have liked to have seen that you're like, I need you to calm down. So we're not getting that person.
There really hasn't been anybody yet. There really hasn't been anybody yet. However, there are a couple of voice actors that I think my daughter would probably flip out if we get them in future years. And I've actually been in talks with both of them. I've actually spoken to one directly. And they make sense as a pair. They don't necessarily maybe make sense separately. But they're on a show it's actually a Nickelodeon show, I think, and it does on Netflix, which everything I think ends up on Netflix eventually. But I think she would probably, at this point in her life, and she's only 6, I think she would be like, wow, Daddy, I got to meet so-and-so and so-and-so. And I'd be like, yeah, you did. And we'll get you a picture, and we'll get you autographs and stuff like that.
So, guys, we're streaming here on Facebook, and we're going to be live on the Big 19. So, basically, we've been having this, and we're going to do the announcement. So, I've got somebody in my ear, one of our producers. We're going to be talking to Darcy Strickland in a second. She's going to be talking to us. And then we'll do the big announcement. Brock's going to tell us who they've secured. Right now, one of the coolest things I can tell you to do is they've been giving away these little things. So Darcy's about to toss to us, so stand by. I'm going to have to be quiet for a second.
Soda City Comic Con has a huge announcement, and today they're making it right here on WLTX with our nerds. We're going to send things over to News 19's Leroy Green. He is on our nerd set with Brock for the big announcement. Leroy.
Darcy, what's up? I'm down here in the nerd set with Donald Brock, a.k.a. Brock. Brock, you guys have been putting on Soda City for 4 years, but this year you have a surprise guest.
Yes, we do.
So for the big announcement, who did you guys secure along with, let me make sure I read this right, Adrienne Barbeau, Lauren Lester, Kevin Conroy, who's Batman, John Glover, and Diane Persing. You basically have the entire cast of Batman Animated Adventures.
Close, yeah, pretty much.
So,
a lot of the main cast members.
A lot of the main cast members, but you also have a surprise guest. Who is that?
We do, and I am very excited to announce that Michael Rooker will be coming to the Soda City Comic Con on August 10th and 11th.
That's amazing.
Yep. And this is for you. Not only that, this particular poster right here will be a WLTX exclusive. We will have these available for giveaway at your booth. I believe you're going to be at the booth. Aren't you going to be at the booth this year?
I will be at the booth.
Yeah. So we'll have a limited number of posters to give away. Compliments of Soda City Comic Con and WLTX.
Guys, do you not understand
They're
how
awesome.
big this is? Michael Rooker, Yondu, Walking Dead. I mean, I could go on. Slither.
Yep.
How did you secure such a big name for Soda City? This is amazing. This is Mary Poppins, y'all.
The stars aligned, I guess. You know, it was just, you know, we had a list of people that we've been thinking about for the last couple of years. Rooker was on the list, and you know, we reached out to their management company. They said just happens to be available this weekend, and the question was, well, what do we need to do to make it happen? And so between phone calls, emails, text messages, any way that we could communicate, smoke signals at times if we needed to send them.
Carrier pigeon?
Yes. No passengers, they're gone, sadly. But yes, whatever we needed to do to make it happen, we're like, all right, we're going to make it happen. You know, Mike last year was such a success for our event, and I think for the city that we're like, okay, if we can't top it, we at least need to maintain. And Mike is definitely up there. Another Mike, actually.
Guys, another Mike. I'm trying to form my words. This is a big deal. This is BFG. Mike, like, this is Yondu. Like, there are people who cried in the movie.
I cried. I will be honest with you. When he didn't come back, and I suppose there's always a chance they could go back and bring him back. He was always one of those characters that was lovable. You liked the way he looked. The scene where he's walking through his vessel after the mutiny,
with the
arrows going,
with rockets walking with him,
picking off all of his former, what do they call them, Ravagers?
Yep.
I guess the former Ravagers, Taserface. You know, no one forget that. Like, who names a guy who calls himself Taserface, right? And he's just picking them off one by one. I mean, that's probably the best scene of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, without question.
To me, when he
said,
he may be your father, but he ain't your daddy.
But I'm your daddy, basically.
Like that. Yep. Like that scene alone.
Yep.
And the dev scene, you were just like, Michael Rooker.
I actually have goosebumps right now.
And not only that, but for a guy to be so versatile, to be the bad guy in Slither, to be a horrible person in Walking Dead, like Daryl's brother,
who did kind of redeem himself at the end, a little bit. Well, if you got left on the roof in episode 2, chained to the thing with zombies coming to you, you probably wouldn't be a very happy guy either. So I kind of get it.
But that kind of was his fault.
No, it was his fault. He wasn't a very nice guy.
But I mean, to be such a versatile actor and to be such a beloved character, whether you love him or you hate him, this was a big get. And it's another Michael.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, you know, he's been around for almost 30 years, I believe. You know, he had a huge role in Cliffhanger. You know, he was the kind of the villain, the Dale Earnhardt-esque character in Days of Thunder. You know, so he's been around. He's in JFK. he's in JFK, and he's working on a couple of other projects. I think one either just wrapped or they stopped shooting in Australia. It's some 3-part. It's some sort of fantasy type series, and you can go on his IMDb and look, and there's a bunch of upcoming projects. But you know, he's really a very versatile character, a very versatile
really
actor,
is.
like you said. And it's my understanding, I've never met him personally. I've seen him at other events that we've attended. My wife and I, we try to do a pretty good job of getting around, going to other conventions. If nothing more, we can always learn something. We can always do something better. And every time I've seen him, he always has a nice line, and he's very personable.
That's what it seems to be. Everybody said that he's just
takes
such
the
down
time
to earth
to talk to people. He doesn't talk down to anybody. He might be wearing his shades and he might be wearing a hat, but he's just very personable, very friendly, very interactive with the fans. It wouldn't surprise me in the least if he just randomly showed up in a panel and just started making a scene, embarrassing some people that he knows. We might encourage him a little bit to do that. We do have another Walking Dead cast member in Seth Gilliam, who's now a feature, member of the show as Father Gabriel. Wouldn't surprise me if he showed up and heckled him a little bit. I suspect him to be all over the city for 2 days.
The funniest thing about this is everybody knows Seth Gilliam from The Walking Dead, but he's been in so many other shows.
Yep.
Remember, he was in Starship Troopers.
Yep.
And he was.
He
also,
didn't make it out alive, though.
He didn't.
No.
A lot of people forget that he was in one of the best shows on television, The Wire.
Yep.
To be in so many different shows and so many different movies and
he's
projects.
in Teen Wolf too, still.
So
yeah.
I think this is one. It's awesome because as a man who's losing his hair, Michael Rooker wears the bald very well.
He does.
Him and Woody Harrelson do a very good job of being the bald brothers.
Pretty good looking guy there. Yeah.
So I'm ecstatic. My mind's a little blown. This has been a big get for us, a big get for you guys.
We're excited about it.
I'm still a little fanboy right now. How did it feel when you guys got him and you secured the bag?
It's not real till he comes down the escalator at the airport and we pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
That was like one of the coolest things I think last year was being at CAE
mm-hmm.
and picking up Mike and his family. You see him coming down, you're like, oh, there he is. And you look on TV and you don't really know how tall somebody is or how big somebody is. He's a big guy. It was like, oh, all right, those muscles on TV, they're real. They're real. And he shakes my hand, and his hand goes whoosh and just covers up my whole arm, and I'm just like, all right. That's kind of when reality sets in. And then when you walk into the park, you get the bags and you go into the parking lot or the pickup, and people are like, aren't you famous?
And they're
like, I don't know. Am I famous?
They're doing that thing.
Yeah, they're like, is that who I think it is? And I'm like, yeah, it is who you think it is, but we're going to go this way. Yeah. So that's kind of when it really sets in. You're like, oh, I've got so-and-so in the car with me. Oh, I've got, so-and-so, or so-and-so's going to be here in an hour. You're coordinating schedules and all that stuff. So, yeah, we're super excited about having Mike here for the weekend. It's great for the show. I think it's great for Columbia. Our goal is to make sure that everyone leaves with a smile on their face and that everyone's happy. And as long as we can do that, then I feel like we've done our job while, running the show. And if this is what it takes, bringing in A-list stars to make everybody happy, then that's what we're going to continue to do because it's exciting and it's fun. And where else are you going to get to do this in Columbia?
I'm speechless. We get to meet Yondu.
Yeah.
So
probably interview him.
Oh. Whew. Adam, how you feel, man?
Awesome.
He knew earlier.
I know he did.
He knew.
When you found out, were you like, whoa?
Yeah, no, he's one of my favorite characters.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not very good at my emotions, but
yeah, he clearly stole the show in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He really did,
without question.
Now you know what's sad? I want to leave work to go watch Guardians, just like 1 and 2, just so I can see him in it. Because I'm like, man, Michael Rooker's coming to Columbia, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, my kids have even seen Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one,
mm-hmm.
and they really enjoyed it. And that in my opinion was like the surprise hit in the Marvel universe. It was a bunch of space cowboys, for lack of a better word, running around trying to save things, but they were screwing up all over the place.
Literally space losers.
Yeah, and then they came together, and kind of saved the galaxy, saved the universe, whatever, or at least temporarily saved it.
And it
worked. It worked. It was great.
And not only did it work, it was one of those things where it's like, if Marvel can pull off Guardians of the Galaxy, they can do anything.
Pretty much.
They made a talking raccoon and a tree that says 3 words, household characters.
And you knew exactly what he meant with
Your
those 3
operations
words.
manager has a Groot hanging out in her plant at work.
She does. He's tiny, though. He needs to
tiny.
grow up.
Like, people, like, when Groot died.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Like, you cried for a fake tree.
Yep.
So when Marvel put that together, and then I just realized something. Marvel kills a character in every Guardian, so I really don't want to know who is going to bite it in Guardians 3. But they've hit you hard in every Guardians.
Yeah.
So to secure Michael Rooker, to secure the bag, that's awesome to me. And to have two Michaels back to back. So who's your third Michael going to be to finish the
The trifecta?
the trilogy?
Oh,
Who's a big Michael we can get for next year?
I have no idea. I don't even want to speculate. The first name that popped into my head was Michael J. Fox, but that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
It's a possibility.
I mean, you know what? Anything's a possibility. That's right. Aim high.
I would have never thought Michael Rooker would come to Columbia, South Carolina.
A couple of years ago, I wouldn't have thought that either. I'm on the ground, trying to make this happen. No, I wouldn't have thought it. We've had a lot of support from all the local TV stations, especially WLTX, and we truly appreciate that. I can't say thank you enough.
No, thank you.
Especially thank you to our families, our friends, the people that have been there for us. That have, I have a graphics designer in California that I talk to till 2 a.m. Works out great for him, not so great for me. He puts stuff like this together. He's a big help. Mm-hmm. We try to do a lot of our business locally. We print locally. We try to support as many local businesses as we can. And we could not be successful without the people who have come out and supported this event. I think they have a good time. We get a lot of good feedback. We're always welcoming feedback, good or bad. And we just want to put on a good, fun family event that people want to come back to, that people talk about. And then, at the end of the day, they're like, yeah, I'll come back next year. That's our goal. Yeah, I'll come back.
I definitely think you have secured a lot of people showing up, coming, whether they're Cole Trickle fans from Days of Thunder, Sylvester Stallone fans from Cliffhanger, which, gosh, he was such a dick in Cliffhanger.
He told him right up front that girl shouldn't be going out there, that inexperienced climber. Then she fell within the first 2 minutes, and you're like, oh my Lord, where's this movie going? That's a great movie back. I remember watching that. I loved Cliffhanger.
Oh. Guys, I gotta go back to work. Brock's gotta work.
Me too.
Brock, thanks.
No, man. Thank you, Leroy.
No, guys. So Soda City, August 10th and the 11th. You can see the cast of my entire childhood is going to be in Columbia, South Carolina in August.
And part of your adult life, apparently.
Pretty much, yeah. So my wife is going to hate how much money I'm going to spend. Hi, Katie. So, guys, come out, check out the cast of Batman Animated Adventure Series. You get to meet, you guys have a VIP package.
We do.
For you to meet all five.
It's very limited. It's like I can't stress this enough. Like, if you want a picture with all 5, you need to buy this package. It's pre-sale only, and you'll have to be there early to get it done.
And this is the thing.
Because Robin is leaving.
You're not going to see the 5 of these people together outside of probably New York City Comic-Con or San Diego.
Yeah, you probably won't see them together again.
So,
yeah.
If you have the Batman animated adventures, bring it. Maybe they'll sign it. So you've got these 5, and you've got Michael Rooker, August 10th and 11th, Soda City Comic-Con, Columbia Convention Center. Guys, that's all I got.
Yep. One last thing, we do have a couple of other guests. I want to at least throw them a little plug. Kathy Najimy from Hocus-Pocus, Sister Act,
that's
King
right.
of the Hill. Yes, she's going to be there, and she is awesome. She is awesome. I'm blown away at how excited people are about Kathy.
My wife watches Sister Act every 6 weeks.
She's going to be there.
When I showed her, we were on vacation. I showed her the Facebook post you guys posted, and she was like, I was like, the girl from Hocus Pocus. She was like, no,
Mary Sanderson.
That's right. She was like, I'm going.
See, you don't have to fight.
And she
works out
has
great.
Never been excited about one of these before until now. And she was like,
it's funny. It's funny you say that because I was like, I was kind of 50-50 on Kathy, and then just the reaction from your unanticipated people like getting super excited about her is ecstatic, and I'm
so glad.
I'm actually very excited about her. My kids will know who she is.
My wife is like Sister Act. She's there.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Seth Gilliam's going to be there.
Yep.
You got so many different people. So guys, check out Soda City, their website. Check out their Facebook page for the announcements. Check us out on News 19 Nerds. We're on WLTX. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. We're on Twitch. We haven't used it. We apologize. We're old. We'll figure it out. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Later. Adam's telling me I got to wrap.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Mom.